So I went through the summer 2026 trends, runway shows, trend reports, all of it. And I gotta be honest with you guys, a lot of them just don't translate to real life. Like, yeah, on paper, sneaky shoes, pedals blue everything, ultra short shorts, it looks cool, it's interesting, it gets attention. But most guys are not walking around dressed like a runway experiment at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. So I filtered it down to what actually works, like what you can wear consistently and what actually look better. And there's one big shift happening this year that kind of explains everything. Menswear is slowing down. We're moving away from those fast micro trends that last like 2 weeks on TikTok and more into pieces that you can wear over and over again, just styled better. So yeah, you're gonna see some familiar stuff, but more refined now. Let's start with the first one. First, henleys. This is probably one of the most underrated pieces right now. Because if you think about it, most guys default to t-shirt in the summer. It's easy, it's safe, but it's also kind of boring. A t-shirt doesn't really add anything to your look, it just exists. A henley, on the other hand, gives you a structure without adding effort. That button placket at the top, even if you leave it slightly open, it frames your chest, it shapes your neckline, and it just makes your upper body look more put together. And the difference is subtle but noticeable. So here, fit is everything. If it's too tight, it looks try-hard. If it's too loose, it loses the effect completely. You want that middle ground, slightly fitted, where it follows your body but doesn't cling. And then the second thing here, fabric. If you can, go for something textured, like a knit, waffle, or open waves. Not only does it look better, it also makes it more breathable, which actually matters in the summer. So yeah, this is one of those pieces where you're not doing more, you're just doing better than the basic tee. Next, polos. And I think this is something a lot of guys have kind of written off. Because traditionally, polos have this reputation of being a bit stiff, a bit corporate, a bit safe, like something you wear to the office, not because you want to. But that version of the polo is fading out. The updated version right now is way more relaxed, no buttons, open collar, deeper neckline. And what that does is it removes that uniform feeling. It feels more laid back, a bit more confident, a bit more intentional, almost like something you'd wear on vacation, not something you're forced to wear. And again, texture plays a big role here. If it's just a flat cotton polo, it's going to feel outdated instantly. But if there's ripping or weight to the fabric or even a slight drape, it completely changes the vibe. This is also a really great piece if you want to look put together without going a full button-up shirt. It sits right in the middle zone, so if your wardrobe is mostly t-shirts, this is a very easy upgrade. Now shorts. This is probably where the biggest shift is happening. For the last few years, everything has been very sporty. Mesh shorts, gym shorts, drawstrings, basically athleisure everywhere. And that worked for a while, but it also made everyone look kind of the same. Now the shift is towards something more refined, tailored shorts. And what that means is a cleaner waistband, sometimes pleat, a bit more structure overall. They almost look like trousers that have been shortened. And the effect is huge because instead of looking like you just came from the gym, you look like you actually thought about your outfit. Now, there's also the runway side of this trend. Designers are pushing super short shorts right now. It's very short. And yeah, that's getting a lot of attention, but realistically, most people don't need to go that far. The key takeaway isn't going shorter, it's going cleaner. Aim for mid-thigh. Make sure there's some room in the leg. And focus on structure over sportiness. Also, if you've never tried pleated shorts before, this is a good time. They add shape, they add movement, and they just feel more elevated. So yeah, this is probably one of the highest impact changes you can make this summer. So now, for guys who don't like wearing shorts, this is actually a strong year. Because trousers are getting a lot better. We're seeing more lightweight fabrics like linen and more relaxed, wider silhouettes. And what that does is it gives you airflow without sacrificing how you look. Because let's be real, jeans in the summer are not ideal. But slim chinos can feel a bit stiff too. These new trousers sit right in between. They move when you walk, they feel comfortable, and they look more elevated. The only thing is you have to really commit to the fit. If you go slim, you lose that whole effect. You want that drape, that flow, but also fuller chinos are quietly coming back, not in a loud, trendy way, just as a solid, reliable option again. Now quickly, we have to talk about this one trend that's been floating around. Sleepwear as actual outfits. Boxers as short pajama pants outside. That whole aesthetic. And look, it's definitely getting attention, but if I'm being honest, this feels more like a moment than something lasting because it's not really about improving your style, it's more about standing out. And those trends usually don't stick around very long. So unless that's already your personal style, this is something you can probably skip. Another thing you'll see this year is that menswear is getting more expressive. You're seeing more sheer fabrics, more fitted silhouettes, a bit more skin overall. But it's not as aggressive as before, it's more controlled, more intentional. And I think the key here is you don't have to go all in. Even small changes like wearing something slightly more fitted or choosing a lighter, slightly sheer fabric can shift your whole look. And don't be afraid. Go online and see all the fashion bloggers and celebrities ahead of most people. They've been wearing sheer for quite some time, which we can draw inspo from. We can take small elements from them and make it your own. The only problem with this trend is, well, you gotta have muscles to be shown. After all, the body is sexy by itself. All you have to do is figure out a way to present it. Last trend, footwear. This summer, it really comes down to two directions. On one side, you've got the classics, like Vans old schools, simple, reliable, and they basically work with everything. No overthinking. On the other side, you've got fisherman sandals. And I know most guys still hesitate with sandals, but this version actually makes sense. They give you airflow for the heat, but still keep structure so they don't feel sloppy. They sit right between a shoe and a sandal. But the most interesting shift this year, the return of flip-flop, but not in a beachy way, in a fashion way. What used to be the most basic, almost don't care shoe is now showing up on runways everywhere. Brands like Louis Vuitton and Sacai are styling them with tailoring. La Mer is keeping them minimal and clean, while Prada and Hermes are treating them almost like refined leather accessories. And that's the key takeaway. Whether it's sneaker or sandal or flip-flop, it's not about complexity anymore. It's about how clean and intentional it looks. So yeah, overall, summer 2026 is not about chasing trends, it's about refining what already works. Better fits, better fabrics, better proportion, that's really it. And honestly, if you get those things right, you don't even need trends.